He hasn't changed. And he has this quote halfway through, and it really spoke to me. And he said, fame doesn't change you. It just changes everybody around you.
Yeah.
This records conversations better than taking notes ever could. This is Pocket, an AI note taker that
And that when you're on your way up, everyone roots for you because you remind them of their dreams. When you're at the top, everyone tears you down because you remind them that they gave up on them. That really, that spoke to me.
I wrote an essay on this because I'm a
psychopath.
Yeah.
Yep.
When I was a gym owner. So a lot of people don't know this, but I got a writing scholarship in college. Like I was a vice president of the newspaper. I was editor of the creative writing magazine. So like I've been writing for a long time. I enjoy writing. And I wrote this essay. I said, I think the title of it was, Everyone Believes in the American Dream Until It Comes True. And I remember because what had happened was everybody, when I was sleeping on the gym floor, right? Like, I was the underdog, and everyone, my clients were all like, oh, good for you. You're going after your dream. And they'd see my blanket and my pillow in the corner of the gym, and they knew I was sleeping there. And it was evident, I lived there. I didn't have a shower. I didn't have a shower to go to the YMCA to go shower. And that everybody was like pro me. And then people would come in, they sign up like, I'm gonna support you. Right. And then within 9 months, I had hired people and I had a manager, and I pulled up, and I remember I walked in the lobby, and all the same people were like, "Oh, boss man's here. Oh, you're not too good for us now, right?" And I remember being so jarred by the experience, and I was like, "You guys rooted for me," and I was like, "And now I did what you said you were rooting for me to do." And that was when I realized that people want you to do well, but not better than them. And I was like, I had gone from underdog to the man. And I was like, when does that happen? And the litmus test of when it happens is it depends on who the person is. Because for the person who was working at my gym who, was a janitor or a cleaner, it happened really quick, right? For the people who were more successful, it took longer. And then, the only people at the end who would still root for me were the business owners who were doing way better than me, right? Who were still members of my gym. And so that was a really interesting experience that happened when I was 23. And that was the first time I went from underdog to the person that someone would want to attack. But I had a performance coach tell me this. He said, hatred isn't something you avoid. He said, it is a requisite for success. He said, if you get no hate, you are not successful. And for some reason, that just like really stuck with me, because then it just like, rather than it being this thing that I was trying to avoid, it actually became a leading indicator, or an indicator that I was on the right path in achieving things. And so I think that's why, I don't want to toot horns or anything. But in terms of like my ability to deal with the naysayers and things like that, I feel like I'm pretty good at it. Like it doesn't really bug me very much. And I think in large part, it was because of how it's framed, at least how, in this discussion, how it was framed for me early on, which is that no one hates you from above. And even when I think back about like the bullies and whatnot that you had earlier, like even in middle school, like there were things that I had that were going for me that I couldn't recognize, because of course, everything that comes easy to you are things that they're easy to you. So you don't think that they're, new or interesting or cool. But like at